Imagine a night sky, dark, peaceful, stars scattered like diamonds. Suddenly darkness vanishes. A new sun appears, not in the east but right before you. This sun is blinding, swallowing stars, moon, and night itself. It's not gentle, it's violent, angry, expanding in silence. The light fades, replaced by a terrifying sight. A mushroom cloud climbing into the sky. A tower of fire, smoke, and dust rises, a monstrous monument to human power. This is the power we unleashed. A power that could end everything. This man-made apocalypse has played out over and over, not just in war, but in secret. It's a story of secrets, silence, and invisible poison, seeping into the ground, water, and bones of generations. We failed to see the invisible fallout, the slow death, the quiet suffering that would follow for decades. The legacy of the sun at midnight is still with us, and its shadow is long. August 1945, Hiroshima and Nagasaki erased in an instant. Little boy and fat man turned cities to ash, people to shadows. The world saw the photos, heard the numbers, hundreds of thousands gone in a flash. For most, this was the end of the nuclear story. A terrible chapter, now closed. But it wasn't over. It was just beginning. The bombings were a demonstration, showing the world what this new power could do. Every powerful nation wanted it. The years that followed weren't peaceful. They were the years of the silent nuclear war. A frantic race began, bigger, stronger, more bombs. The US, Soviet Union, UK, France, China all joined in. They didn't drop bombs on cities, but on deserts and islands, turning them into secret laboratories. Over 2,000 nuclear bombs exploded after 1945. Each one released invisible poison, radioactive fallout, into the atmosphere. The wind carried it across continents and oceans. It fell like silent snow on farms, cities, and forests. The end of the war was not the end of the nuclear threat, it was the start of global contamination, a quiet poisoning of the entire planet. The world believed the nightmare was over, but the real danger had only just begun. The silent war was everywhere and no one was truly safe. The story of nuclear weapons is not just about destruction, but about what lingers after. The fallout never really settles. In the 1950s, the Nevada desert became a stage for a new kind of war. Young men, called atomic soldiers, were brought to the test site, pioneers in the atomic age. Ordered to stand in trenches just miles from ground zero, they waited for the countdown. A flash brighter than 1,000 suns, a wave of heat, and a roar that shook the earth. After the blast, they marched toward the mushroom cloud, told it was safe. The radiation was real, settling in their bones and blood. Years later, rare cancers and birth defects appeared. Their government denied everything, enforced secrecy. The atomic soldiers were the first casualties of the secret nuclear age. The desert still holds their secrets. In Kazakhstan, the Soviet Union's Semipalatinsk test site, the Polygon, became ground zero for nearly 500 nuclear detonations. Villages surrounded the site, their people never warned, never told. The ground shook, windows shattered, mushroom clouds rose. Officials called it thunder, took blood samples, treated villagers as test subjects. Fallout contaminated everything: grass, milk, meat, water. The poison became part of daily life. A strange sickness spread, hair fell out, teeth crumbled, cancers soared. The most tragic legacy: radiation damaged DNA, passing birth defects to the next generation. Babies born with missing limbs, malformed hearts, severe disabilities. The rate of genetic mutations became among the highest in the world. The government denied the connection, blamed hygiene and diet, but the people knew the truth. The bombs were the cause. Their land was poisoned, their families broken, their future stolen. The silent war was fought on their soil without their knowledge. The suffering was generational, the damage irreversible. The Polygon's legacy is a whispering sickness that never leaves. The scars are invisible, but the pain is real. The story of these villages is a warning to the world. The cost of secrecy is measured in lives lost and futures destroyed. The land still whispers its sorrow. The stories of atomic soldiers and Kazakh villagers were not isolated. They were part of a global pattern of secrecy. Governments knew the dangers of radiation, but the Cold War's arms race mattered more. They built a wall of silence. Classified documents, national security, outright lies. When people got sick, the strategy was simple: deny, delay, dismiss. Cancers blamed on smoking, records lost or classified. For those seeking justice, it was an impossible battle. The state held all the power, all the information. This official denial created a deep sense of betrayal. Secrecy extended beyond test sites, public reassured, dangers downplayed. Cartoons like Bert the Turtle taught children to duck and cover, masking the real horror. The truth, that radiation could kill slowly or damage generations, was hidden. This culture of secrecy had devastating consequences. Doctors couldn't diagnose, communities couldn't protect themselves. Nuclear testing continued long after the dangers were known. The silence wasn't just about hiding the past, it enabled the silent war to continue. The lies kept the world in the dark, while the fallout spread everywhere. The Cold War's secret history is filled with chilling incidents, accidents, disappearances, and near catastrophes. Broken Arrow was the code for nuclear weapon accidents. Dozens occurred. Bombs dropped from planes, crashed in Spain and Greenland, lost in the sea. In North Carolina, a single switch prevented a nuclear detonation 200 times Hiroshima's power. There were rumors of lost squads and secret skirmishes, small, undeclared nuclear conflicts. Tactical nukes may have been used in border clashes never acknowledged. Soldiers listed as missing, truth buried to prevent escalation. These incidents reveal a terrifying truth. Control was never perfect. Planes crashed, submarines sank, mistakes happened. The illusion of safety was just that, an illusion. The world was threatened, not just by war, but by accident and error. The systems built to protect us were never foolproof. The real danger was always closer than we thought. The silent war could have become a global catastrophe at any moment. The world survived by luck as much as by design. The silent wars left scars not just on people but on the Earth itself. Nuclear test sites are among the most poisoned places on the planet, zones of exclusion for thousands of years. The Polygon, Nevada, Pacific atolls, Novaya Zemlya, monuments to our self-destruction. The poison is invisible but permanent. At the Polygon, soil and water are filled with radioactive elements. Plants and animals absorb the poison, contaminating the entire food chain. For those living nearby, every meal, every drink, carries hidden risk. In the Pacific, islands were vaporized, coral reefs shattered, islanders exiled forever. The ocean floor is littered with nuclear debris, plutonium dissolving into the ecosystem. These scars are not ruins to be studied, they are anti-ruins, places to avoid. They are warnings written into the planet's geology. The Cold War's radioactive legacy is now permanent. We have created sacrifice zones, lands poisoned forever. These places are the quiet, enduring proof of the silent wars. The Earth remembers what we tried to forget. The damage is irreversible. The scars will outlast us all. The most insidious legacy of the silent nuclear wars is genetic, a shadow passed through generations. Radiation damages DNA, shaping children and grandchildren. In exposed communities, suffering didn't end with the first generation, it was inherited. Birth defects, childhood cancers, developmental problems soared. Families received little help, left to cope alone. The cost of a few moments of light and sound in the desert became a lifelong burden. Living in contaminated land created constant anxiety, every illness a reminder. A sense of fatalism and betrayal haunted these communities. The trauma became part of their identity, children of the atom, marked by invisible fire. The decision to test these weapons was made by a few, but the consequences are paid by many, for generations. The silent war never truly ends. It hides in cells, in fears, in poisoned soil. It's a war fought in hospital rooms and quiet grief. The shadow stretches on, generation after generation. The legacy is not just history, it's living memory. The cost is still being paid. The Cold War is over, but the nuclear nightmare isn't. Thousands of nuclear weapons remain, sleeping giants scattered across the globe. The US and Russia still hold enough firepower to destroy civilization many times over. The threat hasn't vanished, it's only changed shape. New fears, terrorism, regional conflicts, cyber attacks, accidents. The systems controlling these weapons are still vulnerable. The story of broken arrows reminds us, what can go wrong, often does. We've forgotten the atomic soldiers, the villagers, the scars on our planet. We treat these weapons as abstract tools, not instruments of apocalypse. Hope is not a strategy, history warns us. The silence of today is no guarantee of peace tomorrow. The mushroom cloud is a warning for the future. The power to create a sun at midnight is still in our hands. Our duty is to make sure the giants never wake up. The story isn't over, unless we choose to end it.